welcome to another installment of Friday Q&A. I hope you're all fantastic. As always, thank you so much for this week's questions. If you've got a question you would like me to answer next week, put it in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, there are links to the Ragdoll Bandcamp store where you can buy stuff like these shirts with my big ugly mug on them, or my Patreon. And I bought this guitar last week, which is pretty awesome. It's a John Petrucci JP7. It's a 7-string. I don't own a 7-string. Well, I do now. I didn't own a 7-string until last week. And yeah, that's what it is. It's a JP7. It's got the, depending on how you say it, piezo is how I say it. Piezo I've heard, or piezo. No one says piezo. I'm lying about that. But if you do, that's totally fine. I don't think anyone knows how to pronounce that, let alone me, the butcherer of all pronunciations. And there's another word I just invented, butcherer. So that's what this is. This has a really, really awesome bird's eye maple neck on it. And shout out to Ren for selling me this guitar. He's got this amazing collection of Petrucci guitars, and this one is basically brand new. It fits me like a glove. Like I said, having never owned a 7 before, I borrowed one for about a week, a Bacchus T7, and this is very, very different. But yeah, there you go. That's my new 7-string guitar. That's kind of awesome. Also, shout out to friend of the channel and patron saint of the channel now, Mr. Brian Hook. He sent me something amazing during the week, which you're going to see on the channel, possibly as early as next week. And another big shout out to my buddy Kevin, who also sent me something amazing, which you'll see on the channel. Maybe not next week, but the week after that, once I kind of wrap my head around it. Some really requested pieces of gears. So it's going to make a lot of people happy, as this 7-string makes me happy. So I'll kind of noodle around with it while I'm answering the questions, but I better answer the rest of your questions. So this one is from Adrian Urasuno. How do you manage to maintain all your guitars, strings, cleaning, adjustments? Adrian, the truth is, I don't. That's what it is. Some of these guitars are really, really neglected, and the reason, it's like a vicious cycle for them where they might have a particular issue where, say, I don't know, the frets are really worn out and I haven't got around to getting them serviced, so they sit on the wall and the strings get crusty, and then I go to kind of play them or clean them and I go, well, needs a bunch of work done, so there's not a lot of point in that. But I do at least once a month try to pull every guitar off the wall, at least wipe it down, put some oil on the strings, clean the strings, and at least just play them a little bit and kind of remind myself why I bought them in the first place. But my main guitars, which I guess this is one of them now because I played it all week, all the main guitars are on that wall, which you can't see, and I try to maintain them. They're my gigging guitars, so they need to be kind of fit and ready to go at any point in time. The rest, like I said, kind of sadly go a little bit neglected sometimes, but that's why Elixir strings are awesome. I found I can put a set of Elixirs on the guitars I don't play much and get like a year or 2 years use out of that set of strings, which is very, very nice. There was another question, actually another comment about Elixirs, and a bunch of people who are addicted to the 10 to 52 Elixir nanowebs like me, and there were a few suggestions in there. Thank you for those suggestions as replacements. I will check some of them out. This next one comes from Corey Bolton. Could I do a tone match tutorial for an amp and a cab? He's got a H&K tube head and a custom cab. The custom cab is always the really interesting one because, you know, you make a cabinet yourself or you have it made and it's got custom specifications or maybe uncommon speakers or something like that. You're not necessarily going to find stock IRs of those things. Yeah, anyway, sorry, there was another part to the question I'll get to in a second. I can do that. I've already done a video on tone matching like an amp and a low box. Actually, no, I feel like I've got a video called Tone Matching Strategies where I do a bunch of stuff. Maybe check that one out. And what I would do as well is separately shoot an impulse response of your cabinet with your Axe effects. That's a great way to kind of get your mic'd cab sound ready to go. That's what I've done with the IRs, which you can get for free in the video description as well. They're just my preferred mic positions on my preferred cabinets, and I got them baked in, and they make me really happy. And the other question, do I have any Telecasters? I do. I have a Warmoth T-Style, which is somewhere in here. I actually forget where I put it, but I will pull that out next week if I remember that one. Corey, thank you for the question. I'm using the JP7 shred mode, the yellow one in the Axe FX 3 at the moment, and when you stick it on for lead stuff on the neck pickup on this guitar, you know, it does what it says on the tin. Alrighty. Yeah, it's addictive to play. I love that the radius is so flat and the frets are so big on this. It is great for lead stuff, as you would expect from a John Petrucci guitar. You'll probably notice there as well that I've had this question a few times, what's the hardest thing about getting used to playing a 7? It's kind of like, because I rest my wrist down here on the bridge, if I was to go, oh, I want to play fret 7 on the D string, I do this, and I end up playing fret 7 on the A string. So it's sort of like the D string gets lost a little bit. The first 3 strings feel really comfortable, but and you probably saw there, it's really easy to skip a string because you have 4 wound strings and 3 unwound strings on that. It's a bit asymmetric, but I'm slowly wrapping my head around that, as I'm sure if any of you have 7 strings, I'm sure you went through a very similar thing. If you did, or if you have any other questions related to the 7, get them in the comments below. This one's from Frank Fernandez. Desert Island guitar, amp, and riff. Whew. Well, still my number 1 guitar is my PRS single cut, so I'll take that with me, even though if I'm going to a desert island, maybe, can I bring a solar panel with me? That's obviously if I'm taking an amp, that would make sense. So I'm gonna go with that guitar, but ideally on a desert island should take an acoustic. Maybe my Headway acoustic would be the backup amp. Can I take my Axe FX? Because I'd take that. That's going to sort me out. But maybe at this stage, the Mark IV, that's still the amp I've been riffing out on the most at home. And riff, I don't know, I'd probably be really boring and just pick one of my own riffs. I was on the yellow mode before. Let's go to the red JP7 mode. And what riff could I play forever? The riff to follow the lead is really fun. That ending riff in Shine, can I play that in drop A? Or if I had to pick something else, probably Dogman by King's X. But you know, while we're playing stuff, what does Shine sound like in drop A? Sounds pretty chunk. Yeah, that's a fun one. I might get sick of that one, so let's go Dogman with that one. This one is from Richard Whiteman. Question, how do you level presets with each other in the Axe FX3 and keep the lead sounds from clipping if boosting the lead scene by 3 dB? My really genius strategy is to get the lead sound exactly where I like it and then basically turn the amp block level down by 3 dB. And then in the output block, the scene block, turn the lead scene up by 3 dB. So yeah, there is in Axe Edit, there's actually a preset leveling meter. So I just kind of aim for 0 with that, with my lead scene, and back everything else off, and things are generally happy days right there. This one is from Lyric Bread. What's up? I'm doing pretty good. How are you all doing? This one is about new Ragdoll material in the works. Will there eventually be a new LP that will include Rust and Follow the Leader, both killer singles? I'm really glad you like the songs. Yes, both of those songs will be on whatever the next LP is. We've tracked drums for 7 songs and bass for 7 songs. So Ryan and I, in the last Q&A, he actually called me during the Q&A and I was talking to him. So we've been trying to find some time to get together and basically put together the vocals for the last couple of songs that we have to track. So Rust and Follow the Leader are done, and there's another song which is tracked and another one which has scratch vocals on it. So there's like another 3 of those, and then we'll hopefully get into the studio at some point and knock out another, 1 to 3 songs to... I feel like you got to have at least 8 songs for it to be an album. So it will either be like old school, like a double-sided record, or there'll be about 10 songs on there. Hopefully at some point. The big killer with all of that is, we don't know when we're going to be able to go out and even really go into state to play, let alone overseas. So I would say it's all going to be pretty contingent on, the world not being the state that it's in at the moment. And that is totally out of my control. So I'm not too stressed about it. I think when I look at it on paper and be like, oh, we started tracking this 3 years ago, it's really easy to get stressed out about it. But then I just think, well, I'm doing fine. All my loved ones are doing fine. Music's just one thing that I do as a person, and I would much rather have it be delayed and take more time and come out the way we all like it than just rush it out for the sake of having it out. But yeah, hopefully soon, whatever soon means. I think soon, like I said, is very contingent on lots of other things. Speaking about soon though, I'm gonna play you a clean sound on this soon and show you the piezo, but we'll answer a question from Rick Chia. Would you be kind enough to do a video on amp block reset in the Axe-Fx 3? There was a really good post over on the forum by the legend that is Yek, who's done the wiki, or Alex, as I'm sure his grandmother calls him. It's like everything you want to know about resetting the amp block. Go and find that one over on the forum, and that covers everything that you need to know. Yek stuff is always amazingly detailed. So yeah, I just basically rolled my own when Cygnus came out and just went back, all right, I'll just twist the knobs again, I'll go through the process and get my favorite amps where I like them. So speaking about that, this is the JP7 Plus green with some quad chorus from the multi-delay and the new Coliseum reverb. What's cool about this guitar, which I didn't realize, I'm pretty sure that when you go to the middle position on the pickup selector, the coils are split, so you get a really kind of shiny, clean sound. I might get a copyright strike if I play too much more of that one. So that's the clean going on. Then you can blend some piezo in with that. It's really, really cool. And you can see I clammed a bunch of stuff right there anyway. This next one is from John Big, the VI Synergy module, which I really liked. Will I compare it with the Axe 3? Yes, at some point I will get around to that one. I haven't played too much with the new Legend models in the latest firmware just yet, but I will get around to it. This one is from knnMWCsPrS. Does not use the Strat bridge pickup much, neither do I. Should you put a Seymour Duncan hot rails in there? What you could do as something different is, rather than go the kind of like hot pickup in there, you might want to get something like an HS3, which is hum cancelling. It's a very mellow pickup, so you go the other way, or get like a lipstick pickup or something like that. Lipsticks are pretty bright though, so yeah, rather than get something really hot, go for something that would otherwise be like really mellow in the neck, but put it in the bridge, and it's obviously going to have a very different sound about it. That might be a good way to actually get some mileage out of that Strat bridge pickup. All right, is there a popular band you've opened for, or did a gig with, or even just met in person that didn't match the opinion you had for them, good or bad experience? This one's from Ben Peasley, who met Lit and had a really good time. Yeah, there's been a few actually, and generally pretty good experiences. The ultimate experience, I would say though, even though we didn't hang out with them, but just seeing them live, was Kix. Kix were a band, I'd heard of Kix. We did Rocklahoma with them in 2014 or something, and they came out and they were just mind-blowingly good. It was amazing. One of the best live bands I've ever seen. Didn't get to meet them though, so that was just an ultimate live experience. So one of the best live bands I've ever seen. And good experience. Oh, all right, here's one. Here's a good one. We did Melodic Rock Fest last year, and Enough's Enough's played. Enough's Enough played. And I came backstage after being somewhere, and there's Chips Enough, what a name, Chips Enough, and he's got his arm around Ryan, and he's eating chips, you know, like crisps as we call them. So there's Chips eating chips, and he's got Ryan, and he's just like grabbing him, you know, in this kind of like real East Coast kind of drawl, which I won't try to imitate, but he's just glowing to him. He's like, man, your voice, I love it, it's so awesome, your band's so cool. And yeah, we just kind of hung out with him, and he was telling us all these stories about how when he was a teenager, he was playing with like Boz Scaggs and, you know, all these amazing session musicians in the kind of general, you know, that Toto sphere of influence, let's call it that. And yeah, he was a really, really interesting guy, a real sweet guy. Same with the rest of the band. They were just all awesome dudes. So yeah, they were a band that I had never really gone and checked out, and they were pretty good live, and they were just really, really awesome people. So yeah, I've had some not so good experiences with certain people, but no one needs to know about that. Who cares what I think if someone had a bad day or something like that? Try to give people the benefit of the doubt in that respect. Alrighty, this one. from Michael what was that? Lenboff? Sorry if I got that the wrong way around, Michael. Kiss, Judas Priest, or Scorpions, which band brightens your day more? I love all of those bands, but I would have to go with the Scorpions. And I've been listening to heaps of the Scorpions the last week. I got a little Scorps video coming up at some point. So yeah, probably the Scorpions. I just kind of love the just every song has the same drum beat, yet they're awesome. And Rudolf Schenker is my spirit animal. Seeing them live, the way he performs, you know, always got a huge smile on his face, just out there having a great time. And for a guy in his 70s, he looks amazing. You know, he survived the 80s and didn't just scrape by, he really flourished. So yeah, let's go with the Scorps for that one. But, you know, I would say if you had to take the three guys in Ragdoll, like Cam would probably go for Kiss, Ryan might go for Priest, and I would go for the Scorpions. So that's an interesting one there. Now, there was another question, and I forget if it was on this video, but it hasn't shown up here. I'll get to it in a second, but I thought it was really interesting and I do want to end with it. But let me just noodle around with some more lead stuff. I'll kick the piezo on halfway for the lead stuff. It's kind of interesting. I need my volume up. Getting a bit carried away there, so thanks to the magic of television, I've cut it short. This one's from Roger Lamson. Have I ever seen a combination of bridge humbucker and neck mini humbucker in a guitar? Yes, and I've had that in a guitar before. For a while, the green Strat I've shown on a couple of videos on the channel, I had a humbucker in the bridge, and then I had a Firebird neck pickup in the humbucker slot. So it looked weird because there was, you know, it sort of didn't fit the hole. But that was really cool. The Firebird neck pickup was awesome. It was like a Strat neck pickup on steroids. So you had the real super funk thing on the neck pickup, and then you had more of the kind of 80s hot rod Strat thing going on there. And I said there was a question, which I couldn't find here, but the general gist of it was this. And whoever asked this question, thank you for the excellent question, which was basically along the lines of, why would you start a band now? Why would you go out when, you know, you can't make money from music? You're never going to be the world's biggest rock star, and, you know, you'll never be anywhere close to as successful or popular as your guitar heroes. You'll never be the ultimate guitar god, basically. And I read that, and one, I found it interesting that somebody asked that question, because I think it's a pretty valid question. Like, why go to all this trouble and spend all this time when essentially you're just going to come out net negative on everything? And I thought about it all week, and what I kind of gravitated towards was, thought about why I do that. And I definitely don't do it for the money, and I definitely don't do it to try to be the world's biggest rock star, because, you know, life isn't just a competition about what you can put up your nose. I do it because I love music, and if I didn't have music in my life, I feel like my life would be considerably kind of less bright and less enjoyable. And so many of the best experiences I've ever had in my life have been experiences I've been open to because of situations that playing in a band has got me in. I met my wife, and we just celebrated our 8th anniversary during the week because I was playing music. Some of my best friends I've met through playing music. The people that I've spent some of the most difficult periods in my life with in close quarters have been my bandmates, and we sort of have this, you know, special bond. Our drummer Cam once put it, it's like, you're more than friends, but slightly less than the bond that you would have with your family, which I think kind of sums it up. It's just an interesting relationship you can build with people. And I think life is ultimately about cultivating those relationships. If it costs me a bunch of money to do it, I'm fine with that. What else are you going to do with money? That's kind of what money's for. That's kind of what life's for. Life's for living, money's for spending. And, you know, it's better than spending my money on booze and drugs, basically. And it's a nice way to spend my time. And the upside as well is I can spend my time making videos like this and interacting with people who share my love of guitars and music. So when you think about it, the answer's pretty self-evident. And at the same time, if you don't ever play in a band or you don't get those opportunities, it's not the end of the world. Your experience just playing guitar on a Friday night when you have a spare hour is equally as valid as anybody else. You don't have to be the world's biggest rock star. You can just play the instrument for what it is, or you can play music for what it is, which is, I think, a really core part of the human experience. And on that note, I'm going to play you out on this new guitar that I got because I love guitars. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, be good to one another, and I'll see you next time.